The NFL Gambling Podcast Week 3 Morning Picks and Preview edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast is brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the app now and use the code SGP. New customers can score $200 in bonus bets instantly when they bet just $5 on football, only on DraftKings Sportsbook with the code SGP. We're also brought to you by Game Time. Snag the tickets without stress. Use the promo code CFBX on your first purchase to save just $20. Download the Game Time app and use the promo code CFBX. We're also brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Play the Underdog, pick them in college or NFL, and win up to 20 times in just one game. Promo code SGPN at Underdog Fantasy for a 100% deposit bonus up to $100. And finally, but not least, we're brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets, the sports betting research platform for parlays, player props, game lines. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit hofbets.com and use the code SGPN to get 50% off your first month and start making smarter bets today.
I'm just about that action, boss.
You have to be kidding me. That is impossible.
I'm raising the ante. Anybody wants any deal?
Jordan Davis, dog. Jalen Hurts, dog. AJ Brown, dog. How many people want to eat a W tonight?
And welcome everybody back to the NFL Gambling Podcast, part of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Week 3 is here. First 2 weeks in the books. If you're wondering who you're listening to, I am Moneyline Mac here every single Wednesday, 3 o'clock Eastern. And another guy that's here every single Wednesday at 3 o'clock. He is known also as Old Fashioned Football, a.k.a. JMark Football. JMark, what is going on, man? You ready for another slate?
Absolutely. It seems like every day I'm ready for another slate, especially as a Bears fan. You just can't wait to get to next week.
Hey, man, don't worry. You got the Chiefs this week, so it's going to get a lot easier, right?
Right, exactly.
Do you want to let's go back and recap real quick how we did in week number 2. Overall, good week for teasers, unless you had a certain team that lost on a pick 6 down in Tampa Bay. So they kind of fucked your teaser if you had them. They were on my teaser graphic. But JMark, how did we do last week on our lock, dog, and teases on the show, the Wednesday show?
Yeah, we both hit our lock. I had Indy plus 1.5. You had Buffalo winning by 8.5 or more. We missed our dogs because I talked you into the Bears. I apologize. Yeah. Your original dog, Seattle, did hit. And then
1-1.
Yeah, exactly. For our teasers, again, I had the Lions plus 1.5. You had Bears. We missed both of those, but we hit the other two. So
very good.
Which was Falcons and Bills.
So we were on the wrong side of it. I mean, honestly, whether you tease it on either side, I think 10 games were within the tease number on both sides. So I would imagine pretty good week for the public. In week number 2, I was doing some deep diving. So beware this week. This week might get a little gross. And we were talking about it. Our slate's disgusting this week. We got some desperate teams. We got some maybe buy low spots, sell high spots. Depends how bad you think these teams are or how good some of these teams are. Anything catch your eye with this slate? No Bears, at least, to pick from, right?
No Bears. I can't make that mistake again. No, you're right. This is an interesting slate. We have some games that we know how they normally go, like Pats, Jets, Texans, Jags. So it's going to be interesting to kind of break those down, get your thoughts on them, since I already know what my thoughts are. But believe it or not, I don't know your thoughts before you say them.
No, that we don't say who we're going to pick before. The only thing we said was, this week might be a little bit gross. Obviously, we do not have Thursday night, but the Giants going to San Fran tomorrow. We will kick it off Sunday at 1 o'clock Eastern. Speaking of two desperate teams, I mean, that maybe the two most disappointing teams for the first 2 weeks, you could argue. You got I almost called them San Diego. You got the Chargers 0-1 or 0-2. The Vikings 0-2. This line has gone back and forth, whoever's favored. Quite frankly, I have about as little a feel on this game as any game on the slate. My main handicap when kind of thinking about this is I don't think Kirk's going to lose 2 1 o'clock games in a row at home. He's really good at home. They have the rest advantage coming off the loss in Philly, a game that they probably should have won with all those turnovers and fumbles. Kind of a weird game. It's a back-to-back road spot for the Chargers. Desperate spot, though, with Staley's job on the line, potentially. I mean, if he loses this game, let me ask you this. Is he gone?
I don't know if he's gone yet, but he's definitely got to be the coach that's on the hottest seat right now. Have not looked like a team that can just finish games, right? I mean, they've not looked terrible, but they can't finish games, and that most of that comes down to coaching.
100%. And just so you know, when we took the Chargers last week, we thought Eckler was going to play. So right now he's questionable. So monitor those injuries. If Eckler's out, I mean, there's no way I can't get behind the Chargers at all right now. I need to see it, especially on the road. I'll take the Vikings and a pick 'em with Kirk at home in the early window with the mimosa window. Kirk's good with the mimosa window. So cheers to you, my friend.
That's right. No, I agree with you. This one could get ugly too. Vikings second in passing yards. Chargers are 32nd on defense against the pass. Now, of course, they did go against Tua in that 466 yards week 1, but still they have not been great covering anybody. So Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson could eat in this game. And then you hit it with Eckler being in the air. If he's going to be out, I think this Chargers team is really going to struggle. The Vikings have struggled against the run. They're 29th against the run, but without Eckler, I don't think that factors. Josh Kelly did not look impressive as the starter. And Vikings have won the last 2 back to 2021 and 2019. Both of those were at Los Angeles. So being at home, I agree with you. I think this is the Vikings game. They're going to be 1-2, and Chargers looking at 0-3, trying to figure out what they need to do.
Yeah, and a couple other injury notes. Eric Kendricks banged up. I mean, Eckler, Henley as well. So they got some key injury or some injuries on the defensive side of things. Do you think like playing Tennessee the week before kind of wears them out too? Because whenever you play a team like Tennessee, it's such a physical game, and compared to the Vikings, who are going to have the rest advantage.
Yeah, excellent point, especially since the Chargers are on the road. They are going to be tired, and that's going to lead to them struggling even more.
And unlike the Giants, I heard that they went all the way back to L.A. and then are coming all the way back to Minnesota. So it wasn't a kumbaya week, as they say, stay on the road, team bonding, that Kramer's been talking up for his Giants tomorrow. Anything to get the Giants over the hump. So, I mean, they're going to need a lot more than kumbaya to beat the Niners. So
that's true.
So, hey, 1 for 1, we're agreeing. And what's the over? Do you expect points in this game, by the way? You got to think with Herbert and Kirk, they're going to light it up.
Yeah, agreed. I think hit the over on this one.
Over. So hit the over at 54. JMark, I agree with that. So, yep, we're both agreeing. Skull. And we'll dive into the rest of the slate on the other side because we got to talk about DraftKings. We're back with another week of football, and DraftKings Sportsbook is keeping us in on the NFL with great offers. Single game day. New customers can bet $5 and $200 instantly in bonus bets. Throw 5 down on any week's epic matchups to walk away with an instant winner. And DraftKings isn't stopping here. All customers can take advantage of 2 new offers every single September. I think we both agree we like the Vikings. So go over there, bet the Vikings now before that thing. I mean, we already told you, potentially if Eckler's out, that thing could go up to 2 or 3. So get in on that home team that needs to win more than anything. Kirk in the early window, so get over there and bet skull. Football is more fun when you're in on the action. So download the app now and sign the code SGP. New customers can bet just $5 to get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL with code SGP. The crown is yours, and if you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details and state-specific responsible gambling resources. Bonus bets expire 7 days after insurance. And we're also brought to you by Game Time. Game Time, if you want to get over at some games this weekend, get over to FedEx Field and see if the Skins can go 3-0. Let's go. I'm actually going to the Bears game against the Skins week 5 on Thursday Night Football. I know JMark approves of that, but you know what? I'm going to wait and get my tickets on Game Time because it's best last-minute ticket deals, best price guarantee, so you can stop stressing over the tickets and start getting hyped so you have all the fun. You drink a 12-pack. You ain't worried about the price of your tickets. You got to save it for the beer money. When Snyder was trying to rip you off for $12.50 or $19.50 a beer, $12.50 was in 1999 with that guy. Get over there, snag the tickets, download the Game Time app, create an account, use the promo code CFBX, $20 off first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code CFBX for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. And speaking of Washington, we got an undefeated taking on a 1-1. And if you had it before the year that the Skins were going to be the undefeated team and the Bills were not, well, you hit the jackpot. I know I was not. So Buffalo's coming to Washington. I really hope I'm wrong. I'm going to say it right now. I have a really bad feeling about this game. I don't like the matchup, and it just feels like this is going to be the moment where we come back and say, Sam Howell, he's not completely there yet. There's going to be growing pains. It's his first year starting. This is his 4th career start, and I'm not expecting him to go toe for toe with Josh Allen, arguably the best quarterback in the league outside of Patrick Mahomes. The Bills are going to travel too. I know FedEx is more bought in this year compared to when Snyder was there. I mean, shit, it can't get worse. If Snyder's still on the team, it would be literally a Bills home game. But this is a true neutral site game. Probably all those crazy Bills fans will be coming down. I'm going to take the Bills. And I feel like it was a broken record last week. When the Bills win, they cover. So if you think the Bills are going to win, don't think they're going to win by 3. They seem to always they're the bully on the block where they don't like getting punched. I will say Washington can get after Josh Allen a little bit, and if they could turn him over just like the Jets, they can hang around. But I don't think the Skins defense is quite as good as the Jets. And honestly, that was an emotional Super Bowl high for the Jets. That was a miracle the Jets won that game. So I'll take the Bills. They're really good at these early season games. And yeah, I'm going to back the Bills because Skins have won 2 miracle games. The comeback in Denver down 21-3, and then obviously the comeback against the Cardinals. So 2-1 headed into Philly for me next week, man.
Yeah, no, my only concern is the that pass rush of the Commanders getting to Josh Allen, flustering him and causing turnovers, just like the Jets did. But I don't think it's going to happen. Unfortunately for your Commanders, I agree with you. I think the Bills are going to win this one easily. We kind of talked about it a little bit before the show that the Bills are a weird team because they either lose or they win by a lot. It doesn't seem like there's much in between there.
No.
So, and I just don't see them losing this game. So I think they'll cover by a touchdown or more. And yeah, I agree with you. They, like I said, the only concern is if that pass rush can fluster Josh Allen, that's the Commanders, obviously their best chance to get him to force some turnovers.
I also just have that image in my mind of 2 years ago when we played the Bills in Buffalo. I know we're not going to Buffalo, where they just completely ambushed our ass by like 40. It was an experience I don't want to ever experience again. The Bills are banged up on the defense once again. It feels like they're always banged up. Washington primarily healthy, other than Logan Thomas, who took a shot last week. What do you think Washington struggles to move the ball against this Buffalo defense, even though they're banged up?
I think they're able to move the ball a little bit, but I think it's going to be one of those things where they move it from the 20 to 20, and then in the red zone, they're kind of shut down. So, fantasy football wise, take the kicker props, go to DraftKings, take those kicker props for the Commanders. But yeah, I think they'll move it a little bit, just not result in as many points. However, I got to say, I just completed week 3 in Madden 24, and I saw the score. The Commanders won 30-13. So who
Oh,
knows?
yeah. Let's go. Hey, this is an emotional hedge, man. Pick against your team. So when you're wrong, it's like, well, at least my team won. So, yeah,
There you go.
we're both on the Bills. You got any lean in that over under 44.5?
I don't. I could see this being a little bit of a sloppy game, but I think if I would bet it, I would take the over.
I'm trying to find the weather pending because that turf can get sloppy there. I'll come back to it. I'll tweet it out. All right, let's move along in the slate. I'm interested to hear your take in this game because this is kind of like Chargers Vikings for me. New Orleans got a short week going to Green Bay, back-to-back road spot, but their defense is really good, and so is Green Bay. So I think this is going to be a physical-ass game. I went back and forth on this one, and I would like to get 3 with New Orleans just because I think these two teams are kind of a toss-up. I know that New Orleans is in our top 10 in power rankings, and it's a short week. But I think I got to lean with the Saints here. I think they're slightly the better, more experienced team, and I think that defense will bother I almost said Jordan Love like it did on Bryce Young on Monday night. I almost got my young quarterbacks mixed up. Where are you going? You fading your Packers here?
Of course, I'm fading the Packers. I think we're agreeing on too many games here, but that's
I know
okay.
what's going on.
Yeah, we'll succeed or fail together that way. No, I agree exactly with what you said. I think the defense will be able to bother them. There's the Jamal Williams injury, so the running game
Yes.
might be lacking a little on the Saints. However, I got Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill looks good when they line him up as a running back. So I don't necessarily know if that's going to be that big of an issue. I know they got Tony Jones too, who did all right, but I like them lining Taysom Hill back there in the backfield. And Jordan Love looked competent for the most part in week 2, but not enough to get the job done. Obviously, I think it's going to be the same way. I think this is going to be a close, grinded out game. A lot depends on the health of Aaron Jones for me as well for the Packers. If he's out, I feel even more confident, but I am riding with the Saints.
Yeah, it's this game kind of feels like Atlanta and Green Bay last week. So schedule note, Green Bay does have Detroit on deck, a Thursday night game. So I think that is a look ahead spot in a way because I know it's crazy to say Detroit's a look ahead spot, but that's probably the other team that they're going to be battling for the division. I mean, I'd love to say the Bears, but the Bears have not put themselves into that category. And obviously Minnesota's at 0-2. And yeah, you mentioned it, man. Like Watson's still banged up for Green Bay. Aaron Jones still banged up. Seems like the Saints are catching the Packers at a good time. Are the Saints about to be the Minnesota Vikings of last year where they just win all these close games and then choke in the playoffs?
No, they're my Super Bowl team. They're going to the Super Bowl, baby. No, I could definitely see that. I mean, you got a quarterback like Derek Carr, who's a veteran. He can come from behind if he needs to. He can keep them close in games, and you have a really good defense. So I can see them squeaking by a lot of games, even if they do fall behind early. So yeah, I mean, I could definitely see them being a team that over exceeds in the regular season and then comes up short in the playoffs because then they play those good teams. You got to remember they have one of the easiest schedules in the league as well.
Easy. Yeah.
So yeah, it's something where they could look really good and then play a good team in the playoffs and fall. Speaking of Bears though, because you brought them up, I have to throw this out there. I saw a press conference today with Jay Fields, and he said he's got to quit playing robotic and he's got to quit overthinking. And the press asked him, what do you think was causing that? And he said, coaching. This is the second week in a row that he's called somebody out, which is very unlike how he was last year. He's called his offensive line out. He's called the coaching out. Shit's a mess in Chicago there. So I don't have much hope for him. But I mean, if he starts playing like he did last year and just running like a maniac, then maybe that'll yield some positive results.
I hate when they call out the coaches, man. I'm kind of the Belichick mentality, like keep that shit in house. And all right,
Agreed.
You may be thinking it, but just I mean, you haven't played well either, so it's a joint blame. So yeah, not a fan of that. So once again, 3 for 3, we're on the Saints. We're zigging and zagging here, and we'll see if we're zigging and zagging on this next one because the 2-0 Falcons, just like the Saints, are going to Detroit here. Lions coming off the heartbreaking overtime loss. Look ahead to this one was 5.5. So dropped here. Desmond Ridder hits the road for his first start here. I think this is a great spot for the Lions, actually. I think
here's where we're going to disagree, isn't
there
it?
we go. I can't trust Ridder on the road. I think the Lions were looking ahead or kind of feeling themselves coming off that Chiefs victory, but I think they're able to move the ball in this Falcons defense. And I just don't think they're going to lose back-to-back home games. And I like it as a bounce back. And Atlanta kind of feeling themselves, feeling happy and jolly. They go to London next week, so they're satisfied with the 2-0 start. I'll take the Lions to control the line of scrimmage and not get decimated by the Falcons' rushing attack. Because that's all you got to do is stack the box a little bit. So I'll be on the Lions here. I'll lay some points here. You going
all
Falcons?
Right. Of course, I'm going Falcons. I'm fading the entire NFC North except the Vikings, I guess.
Because they're 0-2 like you.
Right, exactly. I think the Falcons match up well against the Lions. They're tied for second in passing yards allowed. The Falcons are, and the Lions, that's what they do well. And even though the Lions are pretty good against the run here, I'm not worried about Desmond Ridder because all they need is Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier. They're going to continue to that formula of run it down their throats. And I think they're going to have some success that way. So I like this to be a 3-point game. I think the Lions probably still pull it out, but I don't like them to win by a lot. So I'm going to take the Falcons with the 3.5.
You stole it right from me. I know it touched 3 at some points. I'm going to hope I get it. Detroit is definitely the more banged up team. Gardner Johnson out for the year. Montgomery's banged up. Armand St. Brown is technically questionable, although I think he's going to play. Compared to the Falcons are relatively healthy. So yeah, I definitely would prefer 3, but yeah, this is an interesting game. Like a lot of interesting spots here in week number 3. No weather in this game, by the way. It's in a dome. It's going to be really nice in Green Bay this weekend, which makes me like the Saints even more. If it was snowing or not snowing, it's not going to snow. But if it was raining, I would say, no, the fucking Saints, the dome team, ain't going to go up there and get a win. But yeah. So, all right, we finally disagreed. On the other side, we'll dive into a next game. But first, we got to talk about Underdog Fantasy. Because you have a way to play alongside your favorite football team all season long, and you can win up to 20 times your money in a single game by going simply 5 for 5. It's a fantasy game that you can win real money. $100 on Sundays continues on Underdog Fantasy. Total of $2 million in prizes, $100,000 in prizes this week, $10,000 to the first 10 people. New sweepstakes every week of this NFL season. This week's higher or lower is Tyreek Hill receiving 91.5 yards. I kind of like the under here, man. They got some rain in the forecast. We'll see what happens. Watch alongside, make your picks, and maybe a little cash over on Underdog Fantasy's mobile app, underdogfantasy.com. And when you sign up today, use the promo code SGPN. Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. That's the Underdog Fantasy promo code SGPN. And we're also brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets. Win bigger by betting smarter this NFL season with Hall of Fame Bets, the sports betting analytics platforms for parlays, player props, game lines. Research every NFL, NBA, MLB, and soccer bet with historical data. Enter any parlay into the Hall of Fame Bets revolutionary parlay optimizer tool to get rates broken down by each leg. The only place that it does that. And expected probability of the entire parlay. Sort the player's hit rate on any bet and learn from them with the value that's there. Stop betting in the dark. And we have over 30,000 users researching the Hall of Fame Bets to craft more intelligent, data-driven parlays. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit hofbets.com. Use the promo code SGPN to get 50% off your first month today. Start researching and start winning with Hall of Fame Bets today. And we're back on the NFL Gambling Podcast. Really looking forward to the next one here because this is an interesting spot. Tennessee coming off the big win. Browns, I don't know how the hell they lost that game. They were by far the better team, doubled the Steelers in yardage. But the massage parlor had to throw a pick six to start the game. So another turnover to TJ Watt at the end. Next thing you know, somehow Mike Tomlin. You wonder why Tomlin never has a losing season. He wins fucked up games like that where you're like, they didn't run a single offensive play inside the Browns 30. It fade the Steelers this weekend, by the way, because I don't think they're good at all. And with that said, I'm on the Browns. And I think this is going to be the public dog of the week. Everybody's in love with Vrabel. He's come through for him twice as a dog so far. He kicked the field goal down 4 with 3 minutes left. Who does that? Just to cover the number. I guess Sean McVay would do that too. But I'm on the Browns. I know Chubb is hurt, but I liked what I saw from the backs by committee. I know Kareem Hunt's in there now. And I'm really high on this Browns team. I know we did the AFC North division together. And I just think they're going to be able to run the ball, control the tempo. And I think it's a bounce back for Watson at home. And I like backing the Browns at home. I think they're going to be really good at home this year. How about you, JMark?
Yeah, first of all, we hope Chubb has a recovery of any kind. I mean, that's devastating to be the same leg and knee that he had a brutal injury on before. And you got to start wondering, is this a career type thing for him where his career might be over? So hopefully he can get healthy and get right. And that might have been kind of the straw that broke the camel's back in that Steelers game, that the fact that was such a bad thing. I mean, you could see the players were shooken up a little bit, and I wonder if maybe that kind of took a little bit of that emotion out of them. But I will also say, I don't think I've ever seen 2 face mask penalties on a quarterback. Watson had 2 of them, especially in crucial times too. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Don't grab somebody's face and try to throw them. Like, figure it out.
I'm with you, man. I'm like, what is this guy doing?
Yeah. No, I guess we shouldn't be surprised that he gets too handsy and grabby.
That's what
I'm on the
said.
Yeah, I'm on the other side here. I'm going to back Vrabel as a dog that covers games here. I think this is going to be a physical game and a physical matchup. Derrick Henry is going to wear those Browns out. And I think they're going to, just with the Chubb thing and everything, I think they're still going to be riding that emotions a little bit. So I'm going to go with the Titans here. 2 in a row we're disagreeing on.
There you go. We couldn't agree on everything. So you're probably looking at an under then with the way that you're forecasting this game.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a bruiser type game. And I know Chubb is hurt, but that's not going to change the DNA of the Browns. I mean, the Browns are going to continue to run the ball with Ford and Hunt. So tragic magic, as we like to say on the college experience, get up spot. The Browns are getting some bad luck with these injuries, man. Conklin, their left tackle with the knee injury. Now Chubb. I'm still backing them. I think they're really good. I've been super impressed with the Browns. So maybe I'm in the minority.
Well, and I was down on the Browns to begin with. I'm going to stay that way for at least a while. I will say, just a little sneak peek at old-fashioned football here. Everybody you got to go pick up Jerome Ford now. I'm curious what Jerome Ford shows up, because he had a 69-yard run that was brilliant. His other 15 carries, he averaged 2.5 yards per carry.
Yeah.
So I'm a little concerned with that. I mean, you can't guarantee those 69-yard plays every week. So I know everybody thinks he's going to be top 10, top 15 running back now, but I would have my reservations about that.
Yeah, no, get over there to old-fashioned football. Got to beat the waiver movers. So
that's right.
All right, JMark, let's dive into the next game. We got Houston, Jacksonville. Houston has owned this series. Oh, I'm all over Houston here. I'm all over Houston. I think they're baiting you into thinking that Jacksonville could win this game by 10. You'll see it all week that the Texans have really owned this series over the last 5-6 years. I know the Lawrence and Peterson's a new team, but I also think that they got issues on that offensive line right now. So I think Houston's able to get after them. I actually think Houston's a live dog in this one. I think this is an ugly 3-point game either way. So I'll take the dog here. I think the Texans have been better than what the record says right now, which is 0-2. And I like backing 0-2 teams. What say you, my man?
This one is gross, because I think everybody's going to look at that stat that Texans have covered, 9 in a row, I think, at Jacksonville. And
Yeah.
so I think that's going to end up being a public side, and that worries me about it, backing a public 0-2 team as a dog. But Jaguars, we talked on it a little bit on the recap show. They didn't look right last week against the Chiefs. That's a game they should have been much closer and couldn't capitalize in the red zone. And you got to fix those mistakes if you want to win these games like this that you should be blowing out. So until they can show that they can blow teams out and win those types of games, I'm with you. I got to ride with the Texans. I don't like it because the public's going to be on it as well. I'm not going to go as far as saying they're a dog, but I do think this is probably a touchdown or less game.
Did you think they looked like shit against Indy too in week 1? I wasn't impressed with them in week 1 either.
Yeah, I mean, they shouldn't have allowed Anthony Richardson to stay that competitive with them in his first start, I don't think.
Yeah. No, and a look ahead for Jacksonville, London against the Falcons next week. So I remember the look ahead to London was a real thing last year. Planning going to see Big Ben, as they say. So yeah, no, I'm on the Texans, man. They gotta win. They gotta win one of these games. I don't know if they'll win, but by 7, give us a cover, and you know what? We'll be happy on Sunday. All right, here we go. Speaking of owning one team. What if I told you Bill Belichick's beating the New York Football Jets 14 straight times? They're laying 3 in New York. They had 2 tough home losses. The Jets got kind of drilled last week, but I don't know. The score was a little bit fluky, I thought, just because of the turnovers that happened late. I'm going to take the home divisional dog. I think that I think, like you said, the stat has been everywhere this week with Belichick. Saw it on the other 4-letter network. I saw it on FS1. I've seen it basically everywhere. Belichick owns the Jets. Belichick and the Jets I think the Jets are tired of it. I think the Jets have the better roster, to be honest. And you're giving me points at home. The total's at 37. I'm not going to lay more than a field goal with this Patriots team right now. They may win, but I'm not laying more than a field goal. How about you?
Yeah, this is an interesting one because obviously had Aaron Rodgers been there, I'm sure the Jets would have been favored in this game. Jets still have a good enough defense that they stay competitive in games. That's for sure. Their defense is amazing. We saw it last year, even with Zach Wilson and the whole slew of other quarterbacks that started for them. We saw them stay competitive in games. But this is Bill Belichick. I really like how this Patriots offense has looked. I don't know if they can keep winning games or stay competitive in games with Mac Jones throwing the ball as much as he has this year. But that spread offense they're running with Bill O'Brien, and then if they can just get Ramondre Stevenson going a little bit more, I think the Patriots are going to be a much better team than I expected with Mac Jones under center. So I'm going to ride with the Patriots on this one. I think all hope is lost in New York. Probably both New York teams, but for sure for the Jets, defense is only going to get them so far. And Bill Belichick knows how to coach against a good defense because he has a good defense. So I'm going to ride with the Patriots here.
Rain in the forecast in this one. So looking forward to an old school game. Yeah, no, you mentioned it last year. The Jets were going to beat the Patriots, and then they ran back that fucked up punt at the end. And
Yeah.
it's like, you got to be kidding. That's the only way that you lose. I think the final score was 10-3. So he's had their number, but hey, man, Jets, you got to put up or shut up. At some point, you cannot let the bully keep beating you. Maybe I'm with you though. I like the Patriots going forward. I know they've burned me a couple times, but they've been right there to win those games. I really thought they should have beat the Eagles, and I'm hoping that the Jets can get them at 0-3. So that I can bet the shit out of them against the Cowgirls next week. Because, the line will be like 10, an overreaction. So, all right,
sure.
little difference here, JMark. Let's go to South Beach here. Denver has lost 2 straight home games. Miami's won 2 straight road games in New England and LA. Somehow Miami's not laying more than a touchdown. This line reeks to high heaven. I'm all over Denver. I think this is the ultimate buy low spot for Denver. Everybody's off them. Everybody hates Russell Wilson. I actually think offensively they look pretty good. They just got – I mean, they scored on their first 3 drives and then kind of just got a little stagnant there at the end. But I think this is a game that comes right down – I think the line should be around 3-4, and I think this game comes right down to the wire. Desperate team against a team kind of feeling itself. Tua's all of a sudden the front runner for MVP. You got they're talking Miami Dolphins Super Bowl. Great time to fade the Dolphins with the Bills on deck. I'll take the Broncos here.
Yeah, don't tell Adam P., our managing editor there, that Tua is favored as MVP. He has gone on record of telling some people to take Tua out of their articles. He just hates Tua and the Dolphins. But how did we start? We were on the same side 3 games in a row, and now we're hitting our 5th on the opposite side. Yep. One of us is going to be really disappointed, or we're both just going to finish right in the middle there. Yeah. I don't think the Broncos can keep up with this Dolphins team. It's one thing to put up some points against the Commanders and have the Commanders rally back, but I think the Dolphins are a much better offense, and the Broncos aren't going to be able to keep up with them at any point, even if they start a little fast. Russell Wilson, he's not the same quarterback. We keep saying, or I kept saying, I guess, he might bounce back. He might do better. And yeah, he's had some good plays, but he doesn't look like the same Russ. And the Broncos also can't seem to run the ball. So until they fix that, they are going to be in trouble. This is going to be a track meet. So I like the Dolphins here, and kind of like you talked about on an underdog going lower on Tyreek Hill, I would go higher on Waddle, because I think Waddle is going to torch him well. They'll be able to kind of contain Hill.
I was going to ask you, do you think Waddle's going to be back by Sunday? I know he's battling a concussion. I didn't know if you had heard anything. Okay.
I haven't heard, but I think he will be back. If not, I mean, it's kind of a weird to throw this guy out, but Braxton Berrios, who is, he's a solid receiver that you can rely on. He's another speedy guy. I mean, he's not speedy compared to Hill and Waddle, but he's speedy compared to other receivers that are normal athletes and not freaks. So if Waddle is out, I would go higher on him. I think he'll make an impact.
All right, another disagreement. I like it. Little diversity given aside from each one. Rain expected in both those last 2 games in New York and then in Miami. Last game on the slate before the lock, dog, and tease, we got Indy going to Baltimore. Baltimore 2-0. Indy 1-1. Indy coming off the big road win, back-to-back road spot. Baltimore coming off the big Cincinnati win. I don't think I can lay more than a touchdown with Lamar in that offense. I think they're banged up right now. I think both teams are going to run the ball. I think it's a close game. Probably take Baltimore to get out of there alive. Good tease opportunity. I'll take the points once again here. I think this is a weekend for me of taking the points.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there. That half a point over 7 is fishy. I mean, I don't think it should be more than a touchdown game. And I think the Colts could surprise the Ravens here. I know a lot of that might depend on Anthony Richardson, but Gardner Minshew looked good enough to get the job done. Yeah. Of course, we all know how a backup comes in during the game and he does well. And then the next game when he starts, it seems like he doesn't do well. But I agree with you. I like the points here. I like taking the 7.5. The Ravens have not been very convincing to me that they're a good team or one of the better teams in the league. So I'm going to ride with the points as well here.
Love it. So we're in agreement. We're split for the most part, 4 and 5. Yep. So, all right. Well, let's go lock and dog and tease, and I'll let you lead it off with our locks so we can continue this win streak. Where are you going?
I'm going to lock the Vikings. I just think the Chargers are a mess. Yeah. I think coaching is an issue there, and Kirk Cousins is going to torch this defense, even though it's kind of funny thinking of Kirk Cousins torching anybody. I think he's going to do it, though. Give me the Vikings to win by more than 1.
I am going to lock. Who do I want to lock? Do I do this? You guys are going to kill me for this. You guys are going to turn me off. I'm locking Denver. Ultimate buy low spot, sell high spot. Denver keeps this thing close, and it comes right down to the wire. Sean Payton's good as a dog. Russ is good as a dog. Fading the Dolphins this week in their Super Bowl hype week with Buffalo on deck. Give me the points with Denver +6 in South Beach. How about your dog?
That's spicy.
I know.
Gosh, I'm looking at these dogs. I wanted to take Tennessee because I think they could win that game, but +142 isn't good enough for me. So let's go +270. Let's take those Colts to pull off an upset.
Yeah.
Lamar's a fraud this year. The Ravens are a fraud. Give me the Colts to shock them.
I like it. And, I'm going to go the Jets for my dog. I know it's a smaller dog, but, when you haven't beat a team 14 times, New York Jets are going to end the losing streak on Sunday at home in front of that crowd. You're going to get it done and send Bill Belichick to 0-3. Give me the Jets +125 as my dog. So, oh man, I got the gross. Definitely, I'm definitely not on the public side on either of those dog or locks. So,
For sure.
I like it. We're definitely throwing your dog into our money line round robin at the end. Juice that puppy up.
Yeah.
All right, let's tease some games. Who's going to fuck us on the tease this week?
Right. I'm going to tease the Bills down to a 0.5 point over your Commanders just to get the win. That feels safe. I'm going to tease the Texans up to, let's see, that'd be +15.5.
Yep.
And let's see, who else do we like? I'm going to go the Saints. I don't think the Packers can beat it. If they win the game, I don't think they're going to win by a ton of points. So give me the Saints with 8.
I think I may duplicate what you just said. I was looking at the exact same games. Bills down to a 0.5 point to win the game. Texans to get it over 2 touchdowns, keep that thing within 2 touchdowns, +15.5. And then what was our other one?
Saints +8 is what I threw.
Oh, yeah. Saints +8. Hopefully we can get 8.5 by Sunday before we lock it in. All right. Well, let's
we agreed on 2 last week, and those are the 2 we hit. So agreeing on 3, that's 3-0, right?
No doubt. Yeah, we're hitting this tease this week. All right, let's. I'm pulling up DraftKings.com right now to plug in our Moneyline round robin for the week. So I already said we're taking your Colts one because we both agreed that they could keep that thing close. What was another one that we agreed on? You want to throw Houston in there?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's make it
for
juicy.
chaos. Indy and Houston. So then we could take a small dog. You want to go New Orleans?
Let's do it. I was looking at that too.
Yeah, small dog, puppy dog. Because in the late window, we're not going to take the Bears or Cardinals.
No.
Yeah.
I'm not taking the Bears to do anything ever again until they prove otherwise.
You're gonna put you right into counseling. All right, another 31-1 money line round robin. So I like that. We're on Indy to get it done. Oh, this is gross. Indy in Baltimore. We're on Houston to get it done in Jacksonville, and we're on New Orleans to get it done in Green Bay. 31-1. We'll see you at the window. Let's go.
Right.
All right. My man, tell everybody where to find you before we get up on out of here.
Yeah, follow me on the X at JMark Football. Trying to get used to saying the X. Question for you, though. Do we tweet now or do we X? What the hell do we call it? I don't even know.
Whatever the hell we want to call it.
There you go.
Try to get some money off it.
That's right. Follow Old Fashioned Football and watch for updates on this USFL XFL merger for all you spring football fans.
Oh yeah, no, I saw Colby was going live. I was like, does this guy ever fucking sleep? You talking XFL and USFL? But you guys can find me at Moneyline_Mac. Got college football going on. College basketball's coming. Get over there to Old Fashioned Football. Check out all the pods. We got the afternoon games for the NFL Gambling Podcast later than Sunday. Don't forget, we go live every morning, I think at 10 a.m. Eastern with some line movements because that's really when those line moves Sunday morning. And go check out the main show, the Sports Gambling Podcast. They do their shows every night, 11:30. And tonight's the night where they give out their NFL picks for the week. So, yeah, get over there, subscribe. It really helps out the show in the long run. And good luck with your Week 3 NFL bets. It's going to be a fun weekend. Every weekend's a fun weekend in the National Football League or any weekend with football. So, Good luck, everybody, and we will see you Monday for the recap show, and let it ride.